the changes we have here. Okay. Earlier, what we used to have is we used to have EWM in one instance and ERP in a different instance. So when I'm talking about the systems integration, this is what we have in earlier cases. So this EWM is available in SCM box, which we'll call it as in supply chain management. Okay, where we used to have this TM, APO, event management, and all the other modules, including the EWM in SCM box. This is one which I was talking about. Okay. And we used to connect this with ERP. So we have this from since 5.0 version, followed by 7.0, 9.0, and 9.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we have S4 embedded one as well. Okay, so when I'm talking about this S4, the embedded one, ideally, guys, we have two different versions here. Ideally it's three different one. We're talking about 1511, 1610, and 1709. These are the S4 versions what we have seen in the recent years. So when I'm talking about this 1511, we don't have an EWM embedded in the 1511 version. It has started with 1610, where we are going to have the both WM and EWM in one instance. Okay, and in 1610 and as well as in 1709. So this we'll call it as an embedded one, where we will be having everything in one instance. So earlier what we used to have an ERP in one instance and EWM in one instance, or from 9.0 we have made this as a standalone where we can only integrate your EWM to an ERP, and we do have as an EWM with ERP as an add-on, but we didn't had that with much implementations on this part. Okay, apart from that we have apart from that we have this S4, which is a 1511, which we are talking about the S4 HANA, and then we have EWM standard. So apart from all these features, whatever we have seen in the following years, so this is the new version which we have seen, where the S4 we are having with WM and as well as EWM in one instance. Okay, so here we can see in 1610 and 1709 we will have WM and as well as EWM in one instance, guys. Any questions so far? Hello?
No.
No, sir.
Can you keep the slide in the presentation mode?
I'm sorry?
Can you keep the slide in presentation mode?
Okay. Oh, presentation mode, okay.
Yeah.
Can you see now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So now when I'm talking, this is the system one which I was talking earlier actually. Now when I come to the systems integration, even we have a different integrations, like this is all the changes what we used to have. Earlier we used to have ERP and an EWM here, but now EWM is embedded in S4. Okay, where the QRFC used to happen in two different instances, but even in S4 as well, we used to have even in EWM and ERP, the both QRFC will be in the same instance only, but I'll explain this again. Okay, the other changes what we see in the EWM system in earlier versions is we used to have the ERP and the SCM box. The data transfer used to happen in two different ways. One is your master data and the other one is your transactional data. Always the master data happens through the core interface, which we'll call it as a CIF. But when we call about this transactional data, we used to do it to the QRFC. Okay, now as being it is been embedded in one instance, we no need to transfer, okay, the materials, whatever we are having, the plant or the distribution centers or the shipping points or the customers or the vendors or whatever we are seeing now, apart from the plant and the shipping points, everything no need to CIF. There is no core interface at all, as being we are using the same master data database tables in the S4 one. Okay, any questions, guys?
Sriram, I do have one question before the slide. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
I do have one question before this slide. Just Okay, so as you said, like in the same instance, we do have WM as well as EWM, right?
Mhm.
So both the logical systems will get the data from the same table, or like do they have different tables
Same
in
table.
WM as well as
The same table.
same table?
Yep.
So why
Why?
SAP is keeping warehouse management? Because already they have EWM in S4, and why
Mhm.
they don't want to? Why?
All of a sudden, they can't stop deleting the EWM, right? So by 2025, they're stopping the support to the WM. Okay. So then either they have to move to EWM or a third party consultants or whoever, they will be supporting the WM. By 2025, there won't be any WM in S4. Only, no, there is no logistics executions or anything. It's only the, okay,
Okay. Um,
it's only the EWM where we're going to have it there. Okay.
okay. So suppose if customer buys the S4, so that like both the features will be available in S4,
Yes,
right?
you'll be having
Both.
both the features still. As of now, we have both the features.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yep. So earlier, okay, this is what the system integration changes I would like to tell you in the S4 guys. Apart from that, we have another thing also where we don't have the customer and the business partners, but I'll come back to this. Earlier, we used to have the customers or the vendors in ERP system, and then we used to have we create as a business partners in EWM system. We used to SIF it, but now it is no more vendor master. There is no more customer master. It's always a business partner in S4 system. There is no more XK01 or XD01. It's always a BP transaction here. Getting it, guys? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Sridhar.
Now, the overview in the changes wise, like whatever we have earlier is, guys, as being it is been embedded in a single instance, okay, we used to have the standard flow of an ERP to EWM is always, okay, we used to have a purchase order followed by an inbound delivery. I'm talking about a delivery integration changes here, okay? Inbound delivery followed by a notification and followed by an inbound delivery. This is what the standard flow where we used to have it in the earlier versions till 9.3, okay? Now the changes whatever we are seeing here is, okay, there is no more notification at all. You're getting it? There is only a purchase order, okay, and there is no more inbound delivery notification. This has been completely removed. You see this, a production order or a purchase order, you can see an inbound delivery, and this inbound delivery creates a notification, and this notification gets converted to inbound delivery, where you'll after that will start performing your activities such as your unloading or your put away and all these things. But here there is no more notification in the S4 one, guys. As being it is been embedded in the one system, that duplication of the deliveries were not allowed in the EWM instance. Getting it, guys? Hello? Any questions? So this is what the delivery changes what we are having in the S4 system. But anyhow, when we get in detail, I mean, like when we get into the sessions, I'll be showing you the differences, okay, what we have in the EWM in 9.3 and what we had in the 1709 version. Okay, I'll be explaining that ideally. However, when we talk about the delivery changes, ideally it is about your inbound delivery or about your outbound delivery or about your posting changes or your production orders or whatever it is. The difference is what we see in the earlier versions and what we see in the current version in the 1709 is that duplication of the deliveries were not being reflected over here. Ideally, what happens is as soon as you create a purchase order or whatever we create here, it directly creates an inbound delivery, and that inbound delivery is distributes to an EWM system as a delivery. What's an inbound delivery? There is no more notification at all. This is what the change, what we can see. If in case, even if it is the case of your outbound as well, the same thing. Okay, hello. If you see this earlier, we used to create a sales order followed by an outbound delivery, and where we used to have an ODR followed by an outbound, but the request has been deleted in the EWM in the S4 system. Getting it, guys? So when I'm talking about the system integration, yes, it has been embedded in one instance. And when I'm talking about the delivery changes, yes, there is no more notifications and there is no more requests. Okay, these are all the changes what we see in the things. Whether if you're talking about any kind of things like your posting changes, we used to have the request earlier, and then we used to, the system used to create a posting change, but ideally we will not have that earlier. But I'll be showing you the differences in 9.3 and as well as in the embedded one, guys. This is what we will be doing it. Apart from that, when I was talking about the innovations or whatever the changes what we used to have in the 1709, ideally in 1610 we have few defects actually which were being rectified in 1709, like the quality management or the IoTs, the inspection object types, where we used to have only the 4. Okay, but in the 1709 we have a different inspection object types, and the labor management enhancements has been done here. Apart from that, where you can track your shift data and all these things. And the most important change in the EWM instance till date, whatever we have seen here, is that delivery, whatever we transfer from ERP to EWM system, okay, will never get changed in earlier versions. Either it's 1610 or 9.3 or 9.2 or 9.1. As soon as the delivery gets distributes from ERP to EWM instance, okay, you cannot change that delivery. But in 1709, we can change that delivery. You see this, you can create an outbound delivery and distribute to early, okay, whatever it is, you can change the delivery in ERP is not possible after handling it to EWM anymore. This is what we used to have. But in 1709, we have done a change. Okay, the system SAP has given a change, okay, where you can change the delivery even the delivery has distributed to EWM instance. Getting it, guys? So the changes can be, what are all changes we can do? You can add the batches, or you can change the GI dates or the text or the shipping points or the quantity or the route or whatever it is. You can change all of these things in the deliveries, guys, which is not ideally possible in any of the earlier versions, which is only possible in 1709. Okay, there is a config for this, but wherever I'll be telling you once we get into the session. So it's just an overview I'm trying to give over here, guys. Any questions here so far? Hello?
So yeah, just like earlier when we had integrated with ERP to EWM, whenever the notification sent to EWM, there would be some number, right? Like how the number will get in.
That number is your ERP number. Either it could be your inbound delivery or either it could be your outbound delivery. That same number will be replicated to the EWM system. That is the request or the notification which I was talking there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, but now we don't even have that. That is what I was telling you, that because this S4 has come into the picture only where it is trying to reduce the duplication of your deliveries and reducing the master data tables and all these things ideally. Okay, because I'm not going into the simple logistics here. I was only focusing on the S4 EWM side. What are all the changes has been done? Okay. If I need to go in detail in the S4 simple logistics, there are so many things were there where the material master data has been enhanced to 40 length and the tables has been changed. There are so many things were there which I'm not, on the material ledger, there are so many things were there which I'm not focusing on because our priority is to focus on the EWM changes. So I've just captured that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Sriram,
So please go ahead.
Yeah, that means like earlier, like suppose you are do any transaction in ERP system, say create an inbound delivery with
Yes.
VL31, so it will create an inbound delivery, and EWM inbound delivery notification would be a different transaction. So both the numbers would be different in that case. So in that case, now you need to say the same number would be there, right? Like if you go to EWM transaction.
Not the same number. You will be creating an inbound delivery in VL31 which starts with 18 series, and that number gets distributed to the EWM, and in EWM it generates a new internal number. Okay, it's not the same ERP number there. It would be a different number there. Okay, it is not the same there. Okay. Any questions? That's the delivery changes. Don't worry, I'll be looking into that. But this is what the delivery change what we have. Apart from that, if you want to compare to the earlier versions, guys, this is what we used to have. We used to have a plan, shipping point, customers, vendors, and all these things where we used to sift it. Ideally, now there is no more core interface. This has been completely removed. Only the QRFC is there, where we will have an inbound delivery documents, where it is an inbound, it creates an inbound delivery notification, but now it's not a notification ideally. It is just an inbound delivery. Outbound delivery documents where it creates an ODO. Okay. This is the generation of the SIF here. So I'm not focusing this on much because we will not touch this part basically. Apart from that, when we talk about the EWM organizational structure or whatever it is, okay, we will be creating a plant and we'll be creating a storage locations, okay, depending upon your business. Maybe if you would like to have a multiple storage locations or a single storage locations, or if you want to have a production, whatever it is, okay, you will be having two different storage locations. One is receive on dock and the other one is available for the sale, and that will be assigned to your ERP warehouse number. That ERP warehouse number will be linked to your EWM warehouse number. This is how the system changes will be done. I mean, like the configuration part, I'm sorry, not the changes. The configuration will be done in such a way. Either depending upon your business, you can go ahead with the one storage location, or you can go ahead with the two storage locations as well. That I'll explain you later. Okay, so when we are talking about this EWM master, the things actually here, guys, EWM, okay, this is how we will talk about. Above the warehouse number, we have the storage location, the plant, or the company code, which we don't need it. But when it comes to an EWM in detail, okay, everything will start with a warehouse number, followed by a storage type, followed by a storage section, followed with the storage bins. Okay, here when we compare with the WM and an EWM here, guys, the sections are mandatory in WM side, but when it comes to an EWM side, the sections are not at all mandatory. Okay, you can create or you may not. That depends. Okay, every warehouse number represents with 3 to 4 digit number in EWM system. Okay, or you can even digit with 3-digit one. It's up to you guys. Okay, and when it comes to the storage bin structure, okay, ideally when you go in detail of the master data of your warehouse, you'll be having the storage bins and all these things. Okay, but I'll explain this in detail in other sessions. Whatever this storage bin structure is, in WM side, we have only the capacity of capturing the bin structure only to a 10-digit length. We can have the IL stack and the level where I'm talking about the CC, NN and all these things. But in EWM, we have this for the 18 digits, guys. Okay, the storage bin generation I was talking about, the earlier thing. However, apart from that, okay, the data, whatever we see, the warehouse product master tabs, whatever we see here, we used to maintain this, okay, in the EWM system. Ideally, the master data will be transferred from ERP system. Okay, but apart from that, we need to maintain the warehouse data view additionally in the EWM system, where in order to give your put away control indicators or your process type determination or your stock determination groups, or if you want to have your cycle countings or your anything which will be maintained in the warehouse data views or the storage type data. But I'm just going in detail in this, but we don't need required as of now. When we come to the topics wise, guys, in EWM, the main core of the EWM is always the POIC and the LOIC. What is this POIC and an LOIC? Okay, which is nothing but a process oriented storage control, and which is nothing but a layout oriented storage control. Okay, what happened? Got stuck. Shit. Okay, when I'm talking about this process oriented storage control, guys, I'll be just giving a brief example here. When we are working in a beverage industries, ideally, just imagine that you're working in a beverage industries where you're receiving the products, ideally, okay, where you will be having this Coke and even the Pepsi coming in a single pallet. But ideally, you need to separate the products. Okay, so in order to separate that products, what we have to do, we have to break that pallet ideally, right? And then we have to store it accordingly to the respective storage types. Agree with me, guys? So this kind of process, whatever we do here, okay, it could be any of the industry, guys, okay, that we'll call it as the deconsolidation process, guys. Okay, it is one of the POSC, where we are talking about a deconsolidation process, where the product will have the simple steps. Okay, whether the product has to come from a GR zone to the unloading, and from unloading it has to go to a deconsolidation work center, and that work center, okay, will separate the products and then it will store. So whatever this process we are seeing now, we will call it as a deconsolidation process, guys. Okay, it is one of the POSC what I was talking here. Okay. Apart from that, we have this POSC both in inbound and as well as in outbound as well. Okay, it's not only restricted to inbound. We have this both for inbound and as well as for the outbound. However, it depends upon your business what kind of a process you would like to use. Whether you would like to have it for your VAS or for your quality management, or you would want to have it for your counting process, or you want to have it for any other things in the inbound. And when it comes to an outbound, you're talking about your packing, staging, loading, and then all this stuff. Okay, but which we'll not be discussing now much on this. So ideally, the heart of the EWM is always, guys, two things. One is a POSC and the other one is an LOSC, process-oriented storage control and a layout-oriented storage control, guys. Okay, this is the main concepts of the EWM. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Maybe when we go into the topics wise, you will be understanding this, but as of now, I'm just trying to tell you what are the topics we have here. Okay, now, I'm sorry, please go ahead. Any questions here?
No questions.
All right. Now, in EWM, okay, I'm talking about in 1709 or in 1610, guys. I just want to show you the other features of this also. You can use this EWM even in two ways as well, guys. You can even have this as in two ways, whether you want to go it for an advanced, okay, you can even make use of this EWM for an advanced features or even for the basic warehouse management. So when I'm talking about the basic warehouse management here, guys, okay, so someone has asked me a question like, what has to be done with, okay, if my business is not suiting for the complex requirements, right? So that point of time, you can go with the basic warehouse management, guys, where the requirement suits for only for a simple inbound and for a simple outbound. You don't need to have any of the complex process like what we are seeing in today's world. Okay, when we compare with an other stuff, like we are having all these POSCs or LOSCs and the yard management, all this stuff, which is not required. If you really want to go for an advanced warehouse management, then you have to pay the license for your SAP and you have to go ahead if you want to go for the advanced ones, guys. But with defaultly, you'll be getting the EWM with the basic warehouse management one here. Okay, so this is one of the options which we are having in the 1610 or in the 1709, guys. Getting it?
Yes, Sriram,
Hello.
Pradeep here. Hello.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sriram. Yeah, actually, I just lost the screen for 2 minutes. After deconsolidation, can you please show me again? You are explaining the POSC, right? Deconsolidation. After that, I lost for 2 minutes. Screen was not coming.
Okay. So I was explaining the features of what we can use it for a warehouse actually. Whether you want to go ahead with an advanced one or if you want to go ahead with a basic one. Okay, which we have this option in the embedded one, guys. Okay, this is what I was telling here.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So here,
Sriram, this is Nirmalendu. Okay, the question is the embedded EWM is a product, I mean, under development, or it's already getting implemented through the clients?
I'm sorry, it is already?
No, it is being implemented by different clients, or it is just a product in development?
No, it is being implemented by different clients.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the
Okay.
reason I'm asking is I'm hearing a lot of things about simple finance, but I've never seen anybody who has implemented simple logistics. That's the reason, since you have said this is embedded EWM.
Maybe I don't know what is happening. We have already done almost like this is my third one where I'm doing in the implementation for the EWM one actually. This is my third one. For the 1709 we are doing it ideally. Okay. So it's not like people are doing, they are doing it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the feature which I would like to tell you in the embedded one here. Apart from that, if you see this earlier below the logistics execution, we never had anything like the SCM, extended warehouse management and all these things. But now we can see two different nodes here. One is your EWM, extended warehouse management, and the other one is your transportation management. So which has been coming from the 1709 guys. This is a different one. Okay. Apart from that, okay, we can even have the LOIC. I've said something called as an LOIC also, no? So when I'm talking about this LOIC, guys, LOIC is a kind of a process where we will be defining this for the semi-automated warehouses. Okay, for this kind of warehouses where you cannot directly do the put away into your warehouse, where you have to put it on a conveyor belt or you have to place this on some belts. So then only the put away will be done. So for that, what happens if you want to do the put away from A to C, ideally, the system cannot do the put away. It needs to either go to A to B first and then from B to C. This is kind of a process where we are talking about the layout oriented storage control, where we'll be using this for the semi-automated warehouses, guys. Okay. But in the process oriented storage control, where the put away will be done by the manual workers, but here the put away cannot be done by using the warehouse workers. Either you have to use it by using the lifts or whatever. Okay, guys. Hello.
Yeah.
All right. So the same way we can do this POIC and LOIC both for the inbound and as well as for the outbound also, guys. This is given, can be done. Now, when I'm talking about the other functionality wise in EWM1, okay, we have something called as the RF framework, which is very flexible when we compare with the WM. And apart from that, we have something called as a labor management. In 1709, okay, there was a few enhancements has been done where you can even track the shifts of your employees, which is not there in earlier things. Okay. Apart from that, we can even see the performance of your workers also, like what kind of a performance and how much of the tasks he is performing on it and how long he is taking for one task. Even that you can perform that. Okay, that is on the labor management. Now, apart from that, you can even see something called as an PPF, which is ideally the most important tool in the EWM instance. Okay, where you can, it's not only for tracking or triggering of your email IDs or whatever. In order to automate any kind of a process in your EWM system, we have this PPF action, which is nothing but a post-processing framework, ideally, guys. So this post-processing framework is a kind of a tool where it's a kind of a nice kind of an output determination, ideally, where it tells in the system how to automate any kind of a warehouse tasks, or if you want to create any warehouse tasks and all these things. Okay, so this PPF will come into the picture over here, where you can even print the labels like for your picking or your packing or your physical inventory and all these things. You can even have your workflows and you can have your email to be triggered, or if you want to have any kind of your actions to be triggered, all these things will be done through the PPF, guys. Okay, this is one of the tool where we can.
Is something like a cockpit, or what is that?
No, it is not a cockpit ideally. Okay, the cockpit or the stuff whatever you're talking about.
I've seen that in one of the utility, SAP utility. Is that the same?
I'm sorry, what is that you have?
In SAP utility, we have as well the post-processing framework. Is that the same?
Okay, maybe I will. Okay, maybe I'm not aware. What is that? What exactly is that? Okay, so but it is not a cockpit ideally. Cockpit is a kind of a graphical representation where in order to track your things, but here we are not tracking anything. It is a kind of an action determination where we are viewing here. Okay.
Okay.
Hello. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
No worries. Now, apart from this, we can even see how the Fiori apps are getting installed and how the Fiori things were getting created, how the things are getting created in Fiori as well. With the 1709 and all these things, we can even see that. Apart from that, when it comes to topics wise, everything would be the same, but only the integration part and the system delivery integration would be different when we compare with 7.9 and when we compare with the 9.3 and 9.4 and when we compare with 1709. That's only the difference we will be having. Apart from that, everything, the process wise or the functionality wise, it never got changed. It is only the system integration and other things has got changed over here, guys. Okay.
Okay, because of the instance.
Yes, because of the instance, these things has got changed. How these things were happening and all these things, these are the things which we have to observe. But if not, the process wise, we don't have any changes there. Okay, the process wise, it is always the same. Hello.
Sriram, like how about the T codes? Like have you been changed in S4 or this?
T code wise, there is no difference at all. It is the same T codes and the same everything. But only the process is in the same. It is only the instance got changed, and a few things has been changed, like the config and all these things, which we don't need to do in two systems. We can only perform it in only one system. That is the one thing got changed here. But the T codes and all these things, it not changed. It is the same. But ideally, the configuration has been also a bit reduced. Actually, that's what I can say. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, the configuration has reduced, you were saying.
Yes. Earlier, when we used to talk about the serial management or the batch management and all these things, we used to define both the things in both the instances. But you don't need to do it now. Ideally, you can do it in only one instance. That is enough. That is one thing actually. Okay. And when you're trying to define your handling units and all these things, earlier we used to define the handling unit groups and all these things. But now you don't need to define this. You can just create it in one instance and you can do that. Okay.
Okay.
Hello. That's what. So there were changes. It's not like completely it got changed, but there were changes. But don't worry, I'll be explaining you the changes as well. What the changes we had and what are the changes we are facing and all these things, I'll be explaining in detail. That part. That you don't need to worry about that yet. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So that you'll be having a better understanding on that. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sure. So when we're talking about the other topics wise, we can even see the serial management, how it is working here, because the serial management, it will not work in the WM level. But when it comes to here in EWM system, the serial management, we can see this three different levels, bin level, or we can even have it at the IM level, or we can even have it at the product level. So these are three things where we'll be seeing that actually, that is not a problem. Apart from that, if you're specifically looking out for any other processes, let me know. Any other things we can talk on that. But the topics wise, yes, 90%. Tell me.
Shriram Patil, how about the HUs? I mean, HU information. If in case of the HUs, if it is a nested HU, at what level the HUs information will be displayed? I mean, is it the higher level, or at if the HUs are nested HUs, and at the warehouse level, which HUs information will be displayed in EWM?
It would be at the higher level.
Okay, in the not at the what about? I mean, even in the EWM, it will be displayed at the only at the higher level.
So nested HUs, you mean to say that like what kind of things you're trying to have there? I mean, like it is like at the higher level in EWM. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So any other? Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Kishan. Actually, I know that one there should be additional document at the EWM side earlier. So ODR and ODOs, do we still need to create them outbound delivery orders or outbound delivery requests?
Sorry, additional documents. What is it? What is that? I didn't get you that here. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Okay. When we had the two different systems, SCM, EWM in different box, that time we used to create outbound delivery request. Once we create the delivery in ECC, it used to duplicate.
One second, hang on. That's what I said earlier, right? There will not be any request here after. Okay. Because you're talking about in the embedded one, that would be completely deleted. That is what I was telling you, right? That will not be there.
Okay. Even ODO also not there. Just the only one delivery document is going to be there, right?
That's what. It's only ODR, it's only ODO and OD document. That's it. There is no more ODR. The duplication of the deliveries has been deleted here. Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, Sriram, regarding the topics as part of S4 HANA 1709, what are the topics we'll be covering? You'll be teaching EWM basically and the changes, the delta changes from EWM to EWM on S4 HANA or anything else?
I'm going to cover you the delta changes, and I'm going to show you the differences between the earlier versions and in the current versions. And the topics wise, you can look at the course content. So almost like whatever SAP certification is providing, almost everything will be covered with end-to-end scenarios. Apart from few things like MFS and all this stuff, because it cannot be shown in the IDS systems. But rest of the things, whatever it is there, we can show it here. Okay, I can show it here. That's not a problem. Okay, if something goes wrong to the worst case, like if it is not working in the system, to the worst case, I'll be sharing you the configuration documents for that as well. Don't worry about that. Okay, where you can practice in your project systems. Okay, sometimes this is an IDS systems, so something goes wrong. That's the issue. That's only the thing. Okay.
And
so in detail, you will be explaining EWM on S4 HANA system.
Yes, all S4 HANA systems with end-to-end scenarios. Okay.
Is it mandatory to have EWM knowledge before we take up the EWM on HANA?
No need. Not at all required.
So
not at all required. If people is not even having a WM exposure also, that is fair enough. That is not required at all. Okay.
Okay, so all the end-to-end scenarios, everything will be covered in this particular course.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Sriram, as you said,
one question from my side. Since I have only SD background, do you think it is fair or relevant for me to go for this course? What do you think?
Yes, it is very much relevant here. You can strongly go for that. That is not at all a problem. Okay. People from technical background are even going.
Okay. Since you have brought that, I was talking to one of my friends who is working in Accenture. He said just check with the trainer because he says it's techno-functional. It's it's difficult to survive in only functional EWM. Is that true?
It depends. See, ideally, whatever the project or whatever the requirement you take up, the base standard should be there, right? Because techno-function is a kind of an additional kind of requirement. See, ideally, if you want to debug or if you want to do something else, if you don't want to take an help of your developer, that's fine. But functionally, if you should be knowing what is happening there, right? If you're not knowing functionally what is happening, what is the purpose of having a techno-functional there? So I do agree that techno-function is you will be needed when you want to have, if in case when you want to customize or if you want to do any kind of an enhancements or whatever. But ideally, I don't think it is required as much as, okay, unless and until if the project is 99% is customized, then you might be requiring a techno function. But ideally, okay, that is not at that level you need it here. Okay.
Okay. And what is the duration?
Duration, it depends upon things. Ideally, I'll take it for 60 hours, 40 to 60 hours ideally, but depends. Okay, it's not like I'll be sticking to that timelines. I just make sure that you guys are comfortable in EWM. That's it. That is what I always focus on. Okay.
Mhm.
And one more thing, Sriram, I just want to check, like, if you go with this course with S4 HANA EWM embedded, so if later required, like, you have to work in 9.3 as well. So
Mhm.
will that work out, right? Going through this
That's what, no, that's what I
training.
was telling you. I'll be telling you the changes in both the things. That is what I was telling you, no. I'll be telling you the changes, what we used to have in earlier versions and what are the changes we have in the current version. So in that way, it will be helpful for you, right?
Okay.
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 Yeah, Sriram, I just have one question. As you said, right, like you'll be here, on the showing us end-to-end process. Okay, so will you cover TM as well? EWM,
TM,
TM.
no. TM, yes, to some extent, not completely yet. Okay. What
Okay.
is required in EWM, that I'll cover. But ideally, what is the other part which TM integration will not cover here. But creation of the transportation units and all these things, that anyhow it is a part of our course, that I'll be covering it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Any other
Any
material
other
you'll
questions?
be doing?
Yeah,
Yes,
Sriram.
don't worry about the material stuff. I'll be
Can
providing you
you,
all the materials and everything. Yes. I'll be providing that. You don't need to worry about that. Okay.
can you, yeah, sorry. Can you tell
Hmm.
me about yourself and your background and the projects which
Required, right?
Communication still it is required here. In embedded system also it is still required. It is still
Why?
required.
Because since everything is in one box, where we are communicating.
But okay, the design, okay, the design has been done in such a way that still we are treating it EWM as in a different instance. Okay, that's the reason we still need to have that. Okay.
But going forward, is there any plan to remove that one, or still they are
Yeah.
going to continue the
Going
same way?
forward, yeah, there could be chances. Yeah, there could be chances, but as of now, there is nothing as such. We still need to have that. Okay.
I think that is the reason we have the outbound delivery order. Otherwise, they can remove that one as well. Order is not at all required because since we have the delivery.
That could be the future roadmap. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Hello.
When is the
Hello.
class is going to start? Any
Hello.
timeline?
I'm sorry. What is that here?
Hello.
No. When is the batch is going to start? New batch?
That Naveen will discuss on you, and he will start it at earliest. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that he will discuss on you, and he will get back to you. Okay, based on your availabilities and all these things, he will come to you and he will discuss that. Okay.
One more question here.
Okay. You are based out of US.
No, as of now, I'm in India. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. No, because I asked you because I called that number, so that is why I asked.
No. Working in EWM, I'll say it will be really good, but it is good to an extent. It is not that like what I can say. It is bad, but it is really good. Okay. Because going forward, we will be having this after 2025. We will be having the migrations from WM to EWM. So it is really good actually. Okay.
After 2025, you are talking, or before everybody need to start, right?
Yeah, before everybody need to start, so that you'll be having a market for that, right? So as of now, it is really good actually. We are seeing a lot of implementations in EWM, and there are a lot of openings I'm seeing actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions, guys? Hello. Hello.
No questions,
No.
Sriram. So we'll look forward to
Okay.
having the conversation here.
Okay, then just leave your feedback to Naveen and just let them know. So how far you good or not. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're not having any questions, okay, I'll be signing off for the day. Okay. on how to create a plant or all these things. Hello.
Right.
Yeah, so probably I'll just skip that part in the sense I'll start creating the org structure, but however, once we start coming into the EWM part, I'll just explain you how to do and all these things here. Okay, so now I'll start creating this things like the plant and all these things. Okay. Hello. Anyone is there from a functional background or anything? I mean, like not from a functional background. Hello.
Are you going to create those, or are you going to use the existing plans, Sriram?
No. I will not use existing plans. I always start creating from the scratch level. Okay. Because that's how, whatever the scenarios. Okay. Most probably we will start using it from this one. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So maybe company code and all these things, I'll not touch that part. We'll see it later. Okay.
Sriram, is this a same box or different box?
This is the same.
Add-on
This is a 1709 and this is an add-on box.
Okay, this is the add-on box. So this is only one version. So there is no concept like two boxes, right?
No. That is a decentralized one, right? We are not talking about a decentralized one here. But however,
Okay.
I'll tell you the differences. Okay. See, when it comes to the process wise, both remains the same. Ideally, there is no change in that. But here, when it comes to the system wise, there are few changes actually. So whenever those changes were there, I'll show you the differences. Okay. Now, if you want to see the differences, simple thing. 1 second. Okay. If you see this, the logistics execution one here. Hello.
Yeah.
Do you see this? Yeah, it is
Yeah.
under this actually.
I mean,
So that, yeah. So it is just an 1709. If it is a decentralized one, you will not have this option at all, the SCM one. Okay.
yeah.
I'm just copying it from another plant and other things here. Okay, because I have another plant in this one. So WM10 we have created now. I'll try to, okay, we'll try to create this. 1 second, wait then. Yeah, hi Jaya.
Hello.
Yes, hi. I'm sorry, can you please
And another thing from the integration perspective, like, do you want to, we need to activate some BC sets manually, right? Or it's just like copying 001 client?
we need to, okay, before activating the BC sets, we need to have the 0001 warehouse in the system. For doing that, we need to activate the respective BC sets actually, okay?
Whatever the related visitors required and rule visit we need to activate, right?
Yeah. I have that set actually. I'll forward that to you. Don't worry. Okay.
There is some sequence or there is no sequence?
Nothing as such. Depending upon your business process here. See, ideally, if you want to have all the things, you activate everything. Sequence in the sense, nothing like as such like that.
Okay.
But there are dependencies and all these things we need to make sure. But however, once you activate that BC sets, you will be ending up with some errors. So that will tell you that it has to activate the respective BC set. So that way you will be understanding that. That's not a problem at all. Okay.
Okay. Because BC set activation itself is a big challenge actually. So that's what I'm asking.
That is one thing actually. Yeah. I should be having the basis set somewhere actually. I think, okay, I don't have it here. Okay, I think I've kept it somewhere, I guess. 1 second. What is this? An object DOMA FAR underscore an ID does not exist. What is this? Okay, some error in the copying the company code now. Okay, let me see it later because this is not a showstopper to us. I'll just use the existing company code and we'll assign that to our company. That's not a big issue. Okay, we have defined, okay. So however, guys, as per the, okay. As per the org structure, we will be creating few things actually. The thing is, we'll be having your plant, plant, 2 different storage locations and a warehouse number. So this is what I'm trying to create, okay, which is already existing now because we have copied it from our other plant actually. Sorry. Okay, we have done this, okay. Okay, sales and all this, I'll have the standard ones. WM10, right? Now these are all the storage locations I have created ideally. So what I'll do is I'll just remove some of the few things actually. 1 second, wait. This cross stock, see bonded stock, I don't want as of now, okay. I'll delete these things. So I'll be using these things, okay. 1030 for your receive on dock and 1040 for the available for the sale and for the blocked one and for the production supply one. So I'm just creating few storage locations ideally, okay, which we will be using it later. And purchase org, okay, I can see I can use my own thing. Oh God. All right. Now here we'll be creating a warehouse number. However, guys, it is a prerequisite that we need to make sure that we have the warehouse here, ideally. Why we need to create a warehouse here? Can anyone tell me? Because this acts as a barrier for us actually, okay? If you see, and if you go to this particular diagram here, this warehouse will act as a barrier to our EWM system, guys. Okay, I'll come back to this. I mean to say what is a barrier and all these things. I'll come back and I'll explain you. And we need a shipping points as well. I'll be just creating one shipping point. Okay, we already have 10 WM. 1 second. Okay, we already have 10 WM. Okay. Okay, let me do this as shipping point WM10. Okay, what is the use of having this shipping points, guys? Can anyone tell me? Hello?
Shipping point is a designated location basically where we are going to ship the goods, like physically the goods are moving out of that location. It is not area where.
So physically, yeah, physically it is a kind of a location where we will tell that where the goods are going out from that place actually, right? Okay, assignment. Okay, finance, it's like you leave that. We have not defined the company code, no, it's okay.
Right. Now, so my plant actually, whatever the WM10 is my plant, okay, and the storage location 1030, where it is assigned to a warehouse of W10. The same way WM10 of my other plant, and it is assigned to 1040 of other storage location, and it is assigned to a warehouse of WM10. Okay, yeah. This is one of the link what we have done so far. Okay. And shipping points to a plant. My plant is WM10, right? Okay. Search 10. So it's already there. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So far the org structure is enough, whatever we have created. Now let's come to this particular node over here. If you see this, there is a node over here. If you integration with other SAP components here, guys. Hello. Maybe I'm not aware of your names or still now. So just let me know if in case if you're having any questions in this part here. Okay, just stop me at that time. Yeah, if you see this here, guys, there is something called as an integration with other SAP components, and here if you go to this extended warehouse management, we can see few things: basic settings for your system landscape, basic settings for your data transfer, and basic settings for your EWM linkage and additional material attributes. Okay, out of this will be each and every node is having this their own significance ideally. Okay, but this is the place where both the basis, I mean the functional and as well as the technical has to come here. Okay, the basis case has to come here. Ideally, the system configuration and all these things will be done by the basis consultant. It's not by us. But being a functional consultant, we should be aware what are all the things has been happening here. Okay, now when we're talking about the system landscape, there are few things which I'll come back and I'll explain on this, guys. Okay, first thing is I'll go to this, the basic setting for your EWM linkage. If you see this, there is something called as an configure SAP EWM specific parameters. If I click on that, what is the warehouse I've created, guys? W10, right? This is our ERP warehouse number. Okay, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to recap, Sriram, like whatever the steps that you did on the ERP side, can you please go over those steps? Like you created plan, you created company code, and you assigned all those, right? Can you please?
The organization structure, whatever I've created is, I've created a plant, okay, of WM10, and I've created the storage locations with few different storage locations, 1030 and 1040, and one for the production one, and another one for the blocked one. This is what I've created. Apart from that, I've created one ERP warehouse. Okay, I've created one ERP warehouse. Okay, this is what I've defined. However, when it comes to the company code, I'm using the existing one because there was some error has come, so that's the reason I'm thought of using the existing one. So I'm using the WM02. Fair enough. Now, what I've done the assignments for all these things on shipping point. Another thing, sorry. And the shipping point also I've created with the SH10. Okay. Now, when I've done the assignments for all these above things here. Okay. And the purchase org also I've created areas. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I have done so far here. Okay, this is what the organizational data I've created and the assignments I've done with this. Okay, this is what I've done in the ERP side. Clear? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I'm coming to the real EWM part, actually, if you see this, they were okay. The ERP warehouse number, whatever we have created, it is here W10. I said that this acts as a barrier for us to the EWM side. What does that mean ideally? Now, if you see this here, the W10, whatever you're having, there were few different options. Ideally, we are having it. Okay. So when we have coming to these options, okay, what are these? Now, when we see this here, there is something called as a local WM. What does this local WM refers to ideally, guys? And there is something called as another options also will be available. Decentralized warehouse management or an extended warehouse management. So ideally, what are these means? So my W10 ERP warehouse, whatever I'm having here, okay, will be assigned to the decentralized warehouse management or an extended. So ideally, this is an extended warehouse management, right? Because my W warehouse, whatever we have there, we are trying to define this as an extended warehouse management, right? Hello?
Yeah. Correct.
Yes. So that is what we are trying to create it as a extended warehouse management. So what is a decentralized one again here, guys? Any idea to anyone? Hello?
So is this the one like WM being in another instance? And,
Exactly. So here what happens is the WM also will be there on the another instance ideally, where we will try to integrate, but only the execution part will be done in that system. It is also the same SAP system ideally, guys, but the integration part will be done. I mean, integration in the sense the master data and all these things will be done in one system, and the execution part will be done in a different system. Okay. So that is what a decentralized system. But ideally here, my warehouse, we would like to define this to where we are trying to assign this to the extended warehouse management. Getting it, guys? Hello?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That is the one thing, and after this there is a second option called as a distribute immediately at document creation or a stop distribution. What does that mean? Here, when we are talking about this distribution immediately, ideally, which represents that as soon as you create, hello? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. I think we can listen.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. So as soon as we create any deliveries in your ERP system, okay, this one, either it is an inbound or either it is an outbound, any of the things, or the production order or your posting changes or whatever, okay, any of the internal, whatever you create in the ERP system, okay, this helps you to control the timing of the distribution, which means that as soon as you create that, you want to replicate the deliveries to the EWM system. So that is what the setting here. Getting it, guys? So which means we are telling to the system that this distribution model will tell us, okay, the distribution, how the transactional data has to happen immediately, whether it needs to happen immediately or you want to have it on a timing basis, like you'll schedule a background job or whatever it is. Okay, so that's the reason you have an option of an immediate distribution of the creation here as soon as they save in the ERP system. Okay, getting this, guys? And we do have another option also, like stop distribution. So in that case, what happens, the distribution of the deliveries will be taken separately as a background job or whatever, we will separate that again. Okay, that is one thing over here, guys. Okay, so the second thing is the distribution mode. As soon as we create any deliveries in your ERP site, that needs to distribute it to EWM system. That is the second one. Getting it? Hello?
Yes, Sriram, this will be through QRFC only.
I'm sorry?
So this will be again through that QRFC, right? Like earlier.
This would be like the QRFC only. There is no change in that thing. Okay, the distribution will always be through the QRFC only. Okay, but however, we do have an options here. Okay, it is a QRFC. There is no other option ideally. It's queued and serialized RFC. So this this QRFC is nothing but this is a transactional method where we used to transfer the data from ERP to the EWM system. Guys. Okay, this is a QRFC one. Hello.
Okay.
So why do we call this as a QRFC? Any idea? But ideally, this is not our part actually. But I'm just want to find out why we'll call it as a QRFC, queued remote function call. And there is another thing also called as a transactional RFC, and there is some other things also were there actually. Probably, I mean, a basis case someone who can tell this, but still, anyone having an idea what is a QRFC and all these things? Hello. Hello. What happened? I've lost again. Yes, can you hear me? I guess.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah. Can anyone answer this to me? Why we need to using a QRFC and why are we not using a transactional RFC and other RFCs? So what are all the other RFCs we have, guys? Maybe just for the sake of an information, that's it. It's not even required. Just for the sake of an information, why we required RFs? What are the different types of RFCs we have? Can anyone? What happened?
Not much idea.
Okay, so ideally we have a different RFC connections also, guys. One is a transactional RFC, and the other one is also we are having this QRFC. So ideally, transactional RFC is also the same type of RFC like what we are using here, guys. It's nothing the same, but here the QRFC, what happens is it comes in a sequential way. But when it comes to your transactional RFC, it will not comes under a sequential way. That is what the issue here is. That is why what we do is we will always use the QRFC here. But the different types of RFCs what we have here is, guys, maybe I remember only few actually. One is an SRFC, I guess. Yeah, SRFC, and the other one is ARFC, and the other one is, that's what I've said, TRFC. Okay, maybe the other one is QRFC. Yeah, maybe we have some other things, I'm not sure. So okay, here for this SRFC, what I was telling, this synchronous RFC here, what we do is this needs an acknowledgements every time whenever you use this. But in the ARFC, we don't need any acknowledgements. But the transactional RFC, I've told you this, it calls the function modules in the receiver systems every time. But when it comes to the QRFC, and this transactional will not be in a sequential way. Okay, this QRFC, it is a kind of an extension of an TRFC only, where it will allow you to send and receive the data in a sequential way. Okay, in a sequential way, and you will be having it in a QS. That's the reason what we do is the preferred mode of transfer, we always use a QRFC here. Getting it, guys? That's why it's always QRFC here. Now, these are the three important parameters we have to make sure that for our ERP warehouse, we need to make sure that it should be with an extended warehouse management, distribution immediately, and a QRFC. And when it comes to the 1709 system, always make sure that if your business would like to do the delivery changes even after the distribution to your EWM system, okay, like in the case of your outbound, if you have distributed some X quantity or like 25 quantity to your outbound, but when it comes to, and you would like to change it to some other things, okay, so that point of time, if you would like to do the delivery changes, you need to flag this here. This is the option which we are having it from 1709. It is not available in any of the earlier versions, even in 1610 or in the 9.4, and again from 9.5 this option is there. Okay guys, if it is a decentralized one, then it is available in 9.5. Clear? Hello?
Is it only the delivery we send it to EWM system, or do we also send orders?
Which one? I didn't get you.
Is it only deliveries we send to EWM system, or do we also send orders also?
Orders in the sense like what kind of orders are talking about?
Sales orders, STOs.
Yeah, everything, all kind of transactional data. That is what I'm telling you, right? It is all kind of a transactional data, whatever you're doing and whatever it is getting distributed, that we can change it. That is what. Ideally, if it is an STO or whatever it is, it would be an inbound or an outbound to an EWM system. Okay, whether you're doing a subcontracting or whether you're doing any of this STO scenarios or whatever, that would be either an inbound or either an outbound. In that case, I was talking here. Okay.
So that's been we will change it in ECC only, right? That's been not in the
Yes.
EWM deliveries.
No, EWM anyhow we can change it, right, at any
Yeah.
point of time.
Yeah.
That is not a big thing. In EWM at any point of time we can edit the delivery by using a process codes. We have a lot of things there. We can edit that and we can change it. But in ERP side, once we have distributed the delivery to your system, we cannot do the changes because that we don't have an option. Okay. But here, by flagging that ideally, we can do the changes. That is what I was telling you here, guys. Clear?
So it's from 1709, right?
Yes, it is from the 1709. Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah. We do have a function module also in order to change the distribution of this here. We do have that. I'll provide you. Okay.
So, Sriram, my question again is, once the EW system is set up, the external system, I'm talking about the other version, as soon as the orders are created, sales order or STO, outbound orders, let's take an example, those orders will be transmitted to EWM because delivery will not be created right away, right after the order creation, right? So those orders will flow into EWM system, or only when the delivery is created, that's when those documents flow into EWM system?
Okay. Coming to your question, maybe. Yeah. So this is not, we don't have these notifications now. Maybe I'll take another. Okay. Now, if you see this here, as soon as you create a purchase order or a production order or whatever it is, we'll create an inbound delivery. Now, after the creation of this inbound delivery happens in the ERP system, that delivery gets flows to the EWM site. Getting it? Hello?
Okay, so inbound delivery is a mandatory for any
Obviously,
order.
yes. So any of the inbound flow in your ERP system, sorry, in your EWM system, this creation of this flow is a mandatory thing. However, without the reference of this inbound delivery also, manually also we can create that. That is not a problem. But we need to have a significant purchase orders and all these things. Ideally, there should be a reference document for us, right, to create an inbound delivery in the EWM site. Okay. In the earlier versions also, we used to do the same process, but we used to have the notification there, guys. But now this notification has been removed because of the HANA database, where the duplication of the deliveries are not required, as being it is embedded in a single system here. Getting that? Hello?
Okay.
Because it is embedded in a single system, we not require the notification. But coming to the process wise, there is no change. It is the same ideally. It creates the inbound delivery followed by an unloading or put away or whatever the tasks you do there. Okay. All these tasks were the same, but only the process wise, the few changes, this notification will not be there. The same way when you go to your outbound also, you'll create a sales order, and against to that sales order will create one outbound delivery, which creates a request followed by an OD document.
So
this request
here's what my question is, Sriram. So the order is not actually flowing into EWM. That's when the
order will never flow
created,
to,
that's when.
yes, order will never flow to EWM system. We can only see the reference what it has got created. That's it. Order will never flow. It is only the deliveries which we create in the ERP system that will get flows to EWM system in order to perform your GR or in order to perform your goods issue. Okay, so earlier, if in case of your WM side, what we used to do, we used to perform the GR and everything over here only, right? But in this case, as being the picking, the warehouse internal activities will be performed in the EWM side, so that the receipt or the other things has to come from that system, not from the WM system. Okay. Any questions?
Okay.
This is here, Sriram. If you can go back to like the WM10, there are a couple of other selections, like the options where we can
yes, there are something called as a batch determination, and there's something called as other things. Ideally, we will come back again and explain one. And we do have some unchecked deliveries and all these things.
Okay.
Yeah. So as of now, I'm not explaining that because we're not required, because we'll come back again by when we use that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to give so much of information on the day one itself, because it gets confused again. This is what you're talking about, right? These three ones, where you're talking about the unchecked deliveries and the batch determination of the GR. And these options will come back again. Okay, I'll come back and I'll explain you. Don't worry about that.
Just one point from my side. So
Yes.
delivery change. So up to what extent? For example, we already unloaded all the goods.
Oh,
In that case,
one second. Yeah, one
delivery.
second. One second. One second. So I've already mentioned this. If you see this delivery change as of now, guys, okay, it is only allowed in the outbound cases. Okay, now if you see this, to what extent, in the sense, okay, as everyone is able to see my presentation, guys?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. If
Yes,
you see
yes.
this, the change allowed that delivery will update the ODO, whether it is a 1709 or an EWM 9.5, guys, doesn't matter. However, it will allow you to change the support changes, what, the batches or the dates or the texts or the shipping types or the quantity or the route or the means of transport. These are all the things are allowed only when, if you are not starting your picking activities. Getting it, guys? Unless and until if you're not starting any kind of an activities, then only it will allow you. Okay, if you start doing any of the warehouse activities, it will not allow you to change. Getting that? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Got it?
Okay.
Unless and until if you're not started any of your warehouse activities, then only it will allow you. If you start doing your warehouse activities, but you can handle that internally in the EWM side by using a process code, by using an exception codes. We have a lot of things there actually.
Yeah.
If you want to change any of the batches, or if you want to change any of the quantity, once you start your warehouse activities, you can use your exception codes or whatever it is. You can do that. That is a different part. But before that, if you would like to do the changes, anything, that will not allow you. You want me to show you one case here? I'll show you it.
So basically, this is very useful. Like when they send a PO and they change PO, maybe like within 10 minutes or so, we didn't start like picking any activities, right? That point of time, basically, it's going to replace the existing delivery.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. We have my other warehouses. No, I'll take it from one of the warehouse and I'll show you the example. Hang on. So someone has asked me that a sales order will get distributed, right? No, the sales order will never get distributed, guys. It will tell you that where it has been created and what is the origin for that. That's it. Okay. It's taking such a long time. So what is the quantity I've given here? 10, no? Okay, no worries. So here, 1040. Okay, so this is one of the thing. Okay, I'm just trying to do it. So it says that it has to distribute it to WMS. Fair enough. Now, the transaction to view your outbound, it is always //SAWM/BRDO. Okay, let's execute this. So when it has got created, let us see that also. Oh, it's not today's date. Hang on. Got stuck in queue by any chance? Nothing is there. How come? 1 second. I didn't remember that delivery also. Shit, man. . But today is 13th, no? But still it is showing only in 11th. No. I didn't make a note of that ERP document also. Hang on 1 second here. Strange. It is not coming over here. Why is that? It's neither in queue. Oh, what is this? Hmm. Okay. It is getting stuck in queue actually. I don't know why, but however, this is an inbound one, but why the outbound is not going there? Maybe there's some system lag. I don't know what is happening. Okay. It's okay. Yeah, it has come here. Maybe it is taking some time to come over here, but ideally it has come, both the deliveries, whatever we have seen actually. Yeah, this is the delivery we have created right here. Hello. Now, if you see this, this is what the quantity, what we have seen here, right? Now, if I go back to an ERP system here, okay, ideally it should not allow me, okay. If you see this now, I can change my quantity to 5 here, okay, and save this. Okay, the delivery has been saved. Now, if I go back to my ERP system and if I refresh this again, 1 second, it has not refreshed. Which quantity is that? Okay, this is not saving the changes immediately. I have to log off and log in every time or what? new thing. Hang on. That is what happening. The quantity will automatically change to 5 here, guys. Okay. This is what the change. If you see this, the delivery in earlier versions, it will not allow you to change at all. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. If you see, yeah, now I think the system is taking bit time here. So I don't know what is happening here. It's got, really, it's not
So
moving
you're
out
saying,
here.
irrespective of the status in EWM system, once the delivery is created, it will not let you change it in the older version.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Irrespective of the status in EWM system,
Irrespective of the status in the sense, that's what, yeah, 1 second. Irrespective of the status in the sense, ideally, it should not start the warehouse activities. You're getting, now you see this, the quantity got changed to 5. The queues are getting a bit lag here. That's the reason it is not getting updated immediately. I have to go to again SMQ and I have to update it. But however, you see this, now for that particular delivery, the quantity has been changed to 5. Okay. This is what the delivery we have changed, no? You see this, okay? This is what the quantity 5. So this is the option which I was talking earlier, where we don't have this at all in earlier versions. Okay. Now, irrespective of these things in the sense, now if I start doing my warehouse activities, okay, let me create one, let us change now and see. We'll create this task. Okay, warehouse order was created. Let me save this. Now, if I go back and if I do this, it will not allow me ideally. Okay, you see this, warehouse processing has started. So you cannot change it. The quantities or whatever the changes, whatever you want to do here. Getting it, guys?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, that is what. Okay, this is just anyhow. I thought of showing you this when we start our case, but however, because we have this 1709, so that is the reason I just want to tell you this one here. That's it. Okay. That is one of the change what we have here. But if not, we can even change the delivery status also by using a function module here. We have one function module actually. Maybe let me recap that. Yeah, this is the one. You see this sp/delv underscore reset underscore dist underscore status. We can even reset the delivery status by using this function module also here. Getting that? Hello?
But this will be in ECC only, right?
Yes. Yeah, obviously this will be in ECC only. Even that also. So here we have to give we have to give you entries and we have to change it. Yeah, tell me. But this is having some restrictions actually. Okay. It's not completely to that extent what we use now. But now in the 1709 we have an option here actually. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Yeah. Fine, no worries. So this is all the data, but once because in the day one itself we can't have all the information. So I mean, like step by step, day by day, we'll start having it. So we can have this. Okay. So as of now in today's session, if we can just have a recap like what we have done, we have created all this org structure, and apart from that, okay, what we have done here. Going to this integration with other SAP components here, we have few things like, where is this integration with extended extended warehouse management. Here we have seen only few things like one of the things, not few things also. We have seen only one node. Configure SAP EWM specific parameters. Here what we have seen here, we have seen how the linkage between the ERP to the EWM has been done and what are all the RFCs were there and how the distribution model and how the changes are all these things we have seen in today's session. Getting it, guys? Hello?
Yes.
God, it's resetting every 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay, any questions like any other things you have in today's session here? Because tomorrow once we come back, we'll meet at the same timings again. And tomorrow once we come back, we will start having the other part even. Okay, there are a few other things also I have to explain. These things. Again, in this note, I need to explain the distribution model and the queues and all these things, and after that I have to come to this one. Okay, system landscape and the basic settings and all these things, which we'll be discussing that in detail in tomorrow's session here. Okay. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
because we'll try to have it in a very slow phase, and then once you're used to it, then we'll make it bit speed. Okay.
Okay, and just one question, Sriram. So I saw the entire course structure. Okay, so I can't
Yes.
see the labor management on there. So
labor management, ideally what is happening is in 1709 and 1610, it is not supporting to that extent what we have. Okay, the reason is we need to install few OSS nodes. The labor management, if it is not working as expected, like what we have worked earlier in 9.3. But anyhow, if it is working, I'll show that. If not, I'll show you in 9.3 system. That is there. Labor management is there. That is not a problem. That's what I've told you even. Tell me.
Yeah. So I think it's there are a lot of changes on labor management only in
That is
709,
what
right?
that is what the labor management, it has got a lot of changes, but ideally what is happening is it is not allowing us to do to that extent even, because there are so many errors we are facing ideally. Okay, that is why the reason I didn't include that. But however, I'll show you that in 9.3 system. If it is in the time being, we have raised some OSS notes actually. We are waiting for that. So once we have got a reply from SAP, I'll install that and I'll show that also. Don't worry. Whatever the topics, if I'm not able to show you an end-to-end over in 17 because of the restrictions of the new system, because everyone knows that there will be some challenges when we have a new system, right? Even the standard versions also will not work, even if you install OSS. That's the reason. If that kind of topics are not able to work in the system, either I'll show you the configuration documents or I'll show you in the 9.2 system. Don't worry about that here. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Any other things here? Hello? So tomorrow, Naveen, you there? I believe it's the same time even tomorrow, guys. Hello?
Yeah, same time, Sriram.
Yeah, same time.
Thanks, Sriram. Good evening. Hi, good morning, all.
Hello.
Hey, Sriram.
Hello.
Hi, Sriram. Hi, Sriram. Good morning.
Hi, Sriram. Good morning, Ganesh.
Good morning, Ganesh.
Hey, Sriram. Good morning. Kapil here.
Okay. So yesterday we were discussing about these things, right? The integration part ideally, but we have discussed only few things. Now let's go into the other stuff even, and then let's see what exactly we're discussing. Okay. So yesterday we have seen this part actually, which is configure SAP EWM specific parameters and all these things. Now we'll be discussing about the other things also. Okay. Now I'll come back to this node again now. Okay. So the very first thing, if you say this, there are a few things here. What is basic settings for your EWM landscape and basic settings for your data transfer and all this. Okay. When you're talking about this one, ideally, guys, we have something called as a logical systems and all these things. Okay. Now, what is a logical system ideally represents here? Hello. No, sorry. Is it?
Logically, there are two systems, I think. So one is ECC, other is SA box, EWM box. Sorry.
Okay. Not exactly. So ideally, a logical system is nothing but ideally don't worry about this, guys. This is the settings where the basis guys has to do. Okay, you don't need to do this part. Okay, this is only just for an overview for what we have to, what we should be knowing, an overview of what should be done. That's it. Okay. Now, when we are coming to this particular logical system, ideally, okay, so logical system is nothing but it is the name or the identifying the system. Ideally, it is just giving a name to your system. Now, if you go to our things, actually, what is this? My thing, mouse. Okay, if you see this BP1 400, right? Oh God, hello. Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So BP1 400 is the logical system which we are seeing here. Now, if you click on the name logical system, ideally, guys, we will be creating a logical system for our thing. Okay. So it is just only identifying the system name. So ideally, which we'll call it as a, it is just nothing but giving a naming convention of your system, guys. Ideally, that is what we usually do. Okay. So this, as per the SAP standards, we always go with the naming of your system and followed by the client number. Okay. BP1 CLNT 400. And assign logical system to the client. Now, if you see this, the assign logical system to client. So what is the client number we have chosen there? It is 400. Okay, so this is the one, and the logical system is BP1 CLNT 400. So ideally, this is completely will be done by the basis case, but it is just only for the information I'm just trying to provide here. You don't need to worry about these things. However, there are two things which we have to focus on here. Though EWM was embedded in the ERP system, I mean like in the S4 one, but still we will treat this as a hello, yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear. We can hear. Go ahead.
Yeah. So though EWM is embedded in the ERP system here, we are still treating it as an external system only. That is why the reason what we will do is we are still creating it as we'll create as a dummy logical system again, and we will try to connect to that system. Okay, that is how the design has been done here. So what we are gonna do here, we are gonna create. Okay, set up the RFC destination. So ideally, this is an SM59 transaction. So what we are going to do here is go to this ABAP connections. So the same way, even for the EWM instance as well, we will create a dummy logical system here. So T41 EWM 400 is the logical system for your EWM, guys. Now, if you click on this connection test, it says that the logon or the transfer or whatever, it is always 11 milliseconds. Okay, which means that the data transfer is happening on this way. And if there is no connection, when you click on this connection test and if you find this on the red color status, means that there is no connection available to your system. And if you click on this remote logon, as soon as you click on this, it takes you to the same system ideally here. But when you look into the 9.3 and other versions, what happens is it takes you to the next, the target system ideally. Okay.
Sriram, just now the RFC is connected to ERP system, right?
Yeah, your RFC is connected from ERP system to EWM system.
Okay.
Because that's what I believe. Though EWM is embedded in S4 1709, we are still treating that EWM as an external system only. That is why the reason what we do is we'll create a dummy logical system for the EWM one, and we will tell to the system that this is the EWM one, and we are connecting to that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are in both are in same client.
Yeah, both are in the same client only. Yeah, I'll show you. If you go to this extended warehouse management also. Here also we'll be doing the same thing. Okay, interfaces, ERP integration. This is, yeah, general settings. Yeah. Same thing again. Okay, we'll have to define this. Control SN RFC destination sector. You see this? Not here, it is. We have to again define the one thing. See, T41 EWM 400, whatever we have seen in just now, right? Hello?
Yes.
The same way. Again, we will be coming back and again you will be defining it. Okay, same thing we will be doing it over here. Okay, so it is ideally in the same system only. Okay, now okay, we have gone through the setup RFC destination. Okay, fine. Okay, where is this here? Here, if you see this, define the queue transfer to an EWM system. Okay, ideally, we will define the queues in the EWM system. I've already said this already, guys. In ERP to EWM, the data transfer happens in two different ways, right? One is a master data, another one is a transaction data. When it comes to a master data, it is always through SIF, but here there is no more SIFing, right? We will not SIF your master data like your vendor or your product master and all these things. And when it comes to your transactional data, it is always through the QRFC, which is queued remote function call, I said yesterday. Now here, if you see this, BP1 CLNT 400 is the ERP system, right? T41 EWM 400 is the EWM system. Okay, guys? Hello? Hello?
Okay. Yeah.
So what we are trying to tell the system, so whatever the data it is flowing from inbound, okay, I mean like from the ERP, and when it is going to an EWM system, here it would be an outbound, and in EWM system it would be an inbound. Am I right? Hello?
Yeah.
The same way, that is what. So here we will tell it as an outbound queue, and in T41 EWM 400 we will tell it as an inbound queue, guys. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the queue types actually, and however we will be looking about other transactions also, SMQR, and there are a few things actually where we need to adjust the tables and all these things. I'll be discussing that again. Now here comes the most important thing. Generate the distribution model from SAP ERP to EWM system. So what exactly this means here? As I've said that the transactional data, any of your inbound deliveries or your outbound deliveries or the production orders, all these things will be flowing from this particular distribution model. Means we have to create one distribution model. Ideally, if you see this, there will be 6 BAPIs actually. Okay. You see that for inbound there will be 2, and for an outbound there will be 3, and all these things. Even for us, for our warehouse, what is our warehouse, guys? W10, right? That's what we have created now. Hello.
Yes.
W10.
Yeah. So that is your ERP warehouse, guys. So W10 is your ERP one, and the logical system of an EWM is this one, T41 EWM 400, and this is the distribution model EWM. This is which is already created earlier. So that's the reason we are making use of this. Ideally, in a system there will be only one distribution model. It cannot be a multiple distribution models based on your warehouse. Okay. It is always only a single distribution model where we'll be having it. Now let's create the entries. As soon as you create these entries, you see the 6 entries something it has got created, right? Now check the entries. It says a dialog data correct something. Okay, fair enough. Then let's come here. Now you see this. For an outbound, you have a 3 requests. One is a delivery change, request change is save replica. And for an inbound delivery, you have a delivery change and a save replica. And for the manufacturing order, you'll be having a staging of EWM parts. So these are all the 5 mappings which we need to create it to your warehouse number. Unless and until if you're not doing it, the data will not get flow from ERP to EWM system. Clear on this, guys? Hello?
Yeah.
But how to get creation of all these things is we need to go to this particular transaction, which is BD660. But ideally, the standard one is always a WM case. If not, if it is really a fresh system, if you're trying to do it, what you do is it's a free text view over here. You just give whatever the distribution model and just create. System will automatically create a distribution model with this name, so that from next time you can use the same distribution model every time. Yes. Okay. Now if you go to this EWM one, these are all the warehouses which we are using. Out of this, our warehouse is what, guys? W10. Agree with me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sure.
Okay, that is how we will be creating our distribution model here. So if you see this, these are all the delivery replicas. I mean, the BAPIs, whatever we have here, the save replica and all these things. So this BAPIs will help us to to take the data from ERP system and it goes to the EWM system, guys. Okay, this is what the background it happens ideally. So this will act as a barrier in order to transfer the transactional data from SAP ERP to EWM system. Getting it, guys? And the same way, this will act as a barrier even from EWM system to ERP as well. Okay, tell me.
And are these the only 5 BAPIs we have, or looks like these are not a complete list of documents, right?
Which one completely in a sense?
Are these the only documents we send to EWM, or are there any other BAPIs we need to?
These are the only one which will do it.
Which we will do it, or I'm asking about the real time?
In the real time, this is a functional activity. Hello?
Yeah, my question is, in the real time, in the real world scenario also, we will be using only these 5 BAPIs, or are there any other additional BAPIs?
No, only these ones. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sriram, just have one question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so as you mentioned, right, like it's a two-way communication, ERP to EWM and EW to ERP, right? But when you see in the previous screen, I have seen that ERP to EWM was outbound and ERP to EWM was inbound. But I have not seen, like there is no inbound from EWM to ERP system.
The settings, whatever you are saying, still it is in ERP only, right? We have not get into EWM system still. So again, in EWM system, we have to do the same set of settings. Okay.
Same setup. Okay.
See, whatever, you have to do that again. Then only it will allow you, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So again, in EWM, we'll be doing that again. Don't worry about it. We have to do that. That is what I've shown you, the business system and all these things.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
We will be doing it again there. Okay. Okay. Now this is how the distribution model gets created in the EWM system here. Okay. Now after this, once we have done with this, there is something called as an additional master attributes ideally. There is a few changes over here when we compare with the 9.3 and other versions over here. We will be doing this actually. We'll come back and we have to define this for your handling unit types or the warehouse storage conditions and all these things actually. We will come back and we will define this again. But as of now, I'm not touching this part, additional master data attributes and assign warehouse number. This is not a mandatory thing ideally, guys. What we do is W10 actually our warehouse, right? Here we need to tell that what is our decentralized warehouse number. I mean the EWM one. So this is not a mandatory setting. Okay, it's not a mandatory thing. Okay, so here, if you see this, we have seen the configure SAP EWM specific parameters and defining the queue and generating the distribution models. Fine. And the log sent and the received messages is the one where we will be creating the logs for each and everything actually. So I'll come back here. What we are trying to tell here is everything, whatever you want to have the log with the error messages. It is just for creating the log in order to see what kind of errors you want to face or what kind of errors you would like to have. That's the thing we'll be doing it here. Okay. Apart from that, we have the other thing called as this one. Basic settings for your data transfer. Yeah. This is for your data transfer, like sieving of your the batches. These two nodes, whatever you're seeing here, sieve transfer batches at the plant level and batches on the system level. Whatever you're seeing, these are the two new nodes which were introduced from 1709, guys. This was not there in 9.3 and other versions. Okay, these are the two different nodes ideally. Okay, and this is again a change transfer of. I'm sorry.
What are those nodes for?
Ideally, yeah, that's what. Ideally, the plant, the batches, whatever we have done earlier, it is only at the material level. Ideally, it is not anywhere at the plant level. Okay, but from now on, what happened is from 9.4 and from 1709, the batches, whatever we are doing, this is at the plant level. Okay, so that if it is at the plant level, okay, what is at the plant level and a material level, guys?
You can have multiple batches at material level if it is at material level. Otherwise,
if it is okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Otherwise, it will be at the plant level. You cannot have duplicate batches at plant level.
Yeah, if it is at the plant level, ideally for each and every material, you'll be having the batches, right? If it is at a material level, it's not for all the materials, right? Again, only for the specific materials you can have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this is one of the change what we had it in the 1709 ideally. Okay, these are the two different nodes over here. Okay, which has come here. That is what I was trying to tell you. Okay, at the same time, we have the change transfer for the master data, like configure change transfer and all these things, ALE change pointers and all these things will come back again here. So these are the ones, if you would like to have the constant change of your master data, like let's assume that you're having a constant change on your master data every time, so that you don't need to sift it. Ideally, in the earlier cases, what we used to do is we used to use this BTEs ideally. This is what, okay, change BTS we used to have. Okay, BTA transfer immediately. So what happens is, as soon as you change anything in ERP system, it goes back to EWM and it gets updated immediately. You don't need to sift it every time here. Getting it? Hello. Hello.
Sriram, Pradeep here.
Tell me.
Yeah, on that batch part, so there is another one, right? Batch can be also defined at the client level. So for that, it will remain same or?
Sorry, what is that?
No, you're discussing on the batch. You're just discussing on the batch part, right? Material level and plant level. So that is another one, right? Client level also we define the batch.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So just I want to check, like you have shown the setting that for the plant level it has been introduced from 9.4 onwards. So what about for
Yeah.
the client level?
We don't have the client level here as of now. It is okay. It is only either at the plant level or at the material level. That is what we have. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Client level was not there still in the EWM still. Okay.
Okay.
So when we are talking about these things again, so initial data transfer and all these things, how you want to have, do you want to have an regular intervals, or you want to schedule any kind of a regular jobs in order to do this, or if you want to configure any entries or whatever. So these are all the things where how to transfer your data. So on what basis you want your data to be transferred immediately, or you want to schedule a background job, or you want to have something else. So this is what the data which we will be discussing over here. Okay. So as of now, we have not yet started the master data, so I'm not touching this part at this stage. So the only thing is we are only going to this system landscape and the EWM linkage. Now when it comes to an ERP side, this is what we have done. Yeah. But the same way, we need to go back to EWM also. Here, if you see this extended warehouse management, okay, now go to this interfaces and come to this ERP integration over here. Now here, there is something called as a tool-based ERP integration. So ideally, this is the one where the system connection and all these things, you can do it by tool-based. So whatever the connection, whatever the settings or whatever the things, whatever you're seeing now, we can do it by using the tool. Okay, there will be one tool ideally which we have to connect it, and not now it is not connected in that because it is an IDEA system. We cannot do it here. Okay, so here the implementation, whatever we are doing here, there are two things. One is your system connections. All the RFC connections and all these things also can be done in the same way, and the warehouse integration, so that the basic warehouse data, whatever it is there, like creating your storage types or creating your master data and creating your activity, all these things will be created by copying it from the tool actually. But ideally, if you try to do this, it will not happen now because it's an IDEA zone, so you will not have the connection to that.
Okay, that's when Sriram, you are trying to say, like, for example, if I implement this one, that's when it will copy the 001 client and then create an entire thing, like whatever we normally do in the other 9.4. There's some BC sets and we have to perform some client copy, and then we will copy the entire things, right?
That's what the tool uses the following BC set to do this. Okay.
And here we can't do it because it's already done, right? So we can't go with a multiple copy, right? Or we can do.
How in a sense? I don't know. I didn't get you.
Means, for example, some settings already copied, right? Some from 00 to another client. So if I try to copy another one, it will not allow.
Other settings, what kind of settings you're talking about? Like,
means, for example, you already copied some. You already copied this one, right? From 001 client to another client.
Okay, fine.
Using this.
1 minute. Yeah. 1 minute. 0012, you copied it to some XYZ warehouse, you mean to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. Next.
Now now just try to create another one. You are seeing some problem, right? So now if you try to create another one, it should allow, right?
You can do it, yeah. That doesn't matter. You can do it. Yeah. That is not a problem. It is ideally what we do here. You see, this is the customizing activity here, okay? Where you can create your own warehouse with the help of this tool. Okay, you can configure the following data, what it is fine, but however, this is all the data we will define step by step. We will define the warehouse number, we will assign it acknowledgement and mapping, okay, determine the stock, all these things anyhow we have done, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so however, what it is trying to tell is you no need to do everything manually. You can even also make use of these options, but ideally, there are some drawbacks in this tool. Actually, if you upload this with the tool, what is happening is that data is not getting copied correctly. So no one is, I mean, like ideally you can say that business always wants to go with the manual, because when we tried doing all these things, from 0001, these BC sets and all these things, whatever we are having, it is not allowing us to create. Actually, you say this, these are all the BC sets. System automatically does. But in our case, what we have to do, we have to manually do defining a warehouse, assigning it, and mapping the warehouse numbers, determining the stock. I have the screenshot because where I've done it for one of my clients, I'll show that. Okay. So, but however, these are all the BC sets where we'll be telling it. Okay. If you want to do it at a time, you can go with the tool based here instead of going it step by step and defining all these things. If you don't want to do it also, that's fine. This is one of the options what we have here. That's it. Okay. Clear, guys?
Yeah, okay, I got it. This is a new client settings. Means, for example, we are creating a warehouse number, and then there are all the storage they found. So it's a tool based. Enter a data, and then it will create automatically.
That's what. See, it's a kind of an option that for us it is telling you that if you want to go with a tool-based one, what do you say that at a time all the client settings from the 0001 or 001, whatever we have, it copies to your warehouse. Ideally, you're getting that.
Okay, yeah, got it. Now I was doing different way. Okay, fine. So there is some problem. So it's better to manual creation is better, right?
That is what. So that is one of the. I mean, like what I can say is it's one of the option. If you want to go ahead, it's up to you. But ideally, what is happening is that data it is not copying to its own extent. Actually, that is the reason we will not go to this option ideally every time. But again, it depends on the business. If you want to use it, it's up to you guys. Okay. Now, define own business system. Do you see this? Ideally, it is nothing but, okay, here you name the business system of which SAP EWM is installed ideally. So what we do here is this server, okay, what I can say, but if you see this, there is something called as a logical system we have defined there. But here, when it comes to an EWM, we are talking about a business system. Why so? Any idea, guys? Any maybe?
There could be a multiple warehouse.
Exactly. No. Okay. It could be a multiple, but not the warehouse. Multiple ERP systems. You're getting that? Yeah, that is the one actually. So ideally, what happens is it is ideally. Okay, I prepared one PPT for that actually. 1 second, yeah. Okay. I don't have it here, I guess. Logical. Maybe 1 second. Yeah. Come on. If you see this, what is the logical system you have defined there, guys? Hello? Hello?
CLNT 400, I think.
It's BP1 400, right? If you remember that, it's BP1, guys. Yes. Now, ideally, guys, logical system is an application system which within the applications are coordinated. So this is our definition ideally. So we don't have to study on all. Simple thing, logical system is where we are just defining your system name and you're assigning the client number. But when it comes to a business system, ideally, what is the business system? That will be only in EWM, guys. So here, logical system will be responsible to send the data. Like it could be your deliveries and all these things. Okay, so what we do here, logical system is only responsible for sending the data, and business system to collect the data and process in the EWM, guys. Okay, so ideally what happens, the logical system and the business system relations are always one-to-one. Okay, hello.
Yes.
Okay, now what we are trying to do here, guys. Oh my god, wait a second, 10 minutes. So here, got stuck. Goodness. So now these are the settings which we are doing it in EWM ways. Remember this, okay? We are not doing it somewhere, okay? Hello?
Okay.
Not here. Interfaces, ERP integration, okay? Tool-based, okay? General settings, define business system. One. So now I have defined my own business system. See, T41 EWM, okay? However, define business system. Now, if you see this, okay, T41, you have assigned this to this logical system. Do you see this here, guys? Hello. So what is happening in this setting? Always remember this, guys. You assign the logical system to a business system, whatever. Okay. When the data is sent from SAP EWM to ERP system, it uses the logical system. Okay, that contains the deliveries and maps a business system to the logical system. Too confusing, right? Simple thing. Always remember this, right? In EWM, we'll call it as a logical system. When it comes to an EWM, we'll call it as a business system. Why are you talking about a business system? Because we can connect a multiple logical systems to a single business system. Agree with me? Hello?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Now, map warehouse numbers from ERP to EWM system. But before we do this, actually, we need to define the things, right? Master data, define warehouse numbers. So ideally, we need to define the warehouse number. So what I'll be doing is WM010, not WM10 without of defining it, okay? Oh, entry already exists. Shit, man. God. Who has defined it? If someone is using it. Huh? Okay. We'll do one thing, wait. Warehouse 10. Okay. Okay. WH10 is a warehouse which we have defined for our EWM side, guys. Okay. Now, assign warehouse numbers. We'll come back here, not now. Before that, what we have to do is go to set process. Okay. Hello. Sorry, cross-process settings. Copy warehouse number customizing. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to copy my other warehouse. Okay, whatever I've done. Okay, I'm trying to copy this to my existing warehouse, to my destination, so that all the data on all the tables, whatever we are having, okay, it gets copied to our warehouse. Like the same way what we do to the standard one. Okay. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So for the standard one, whenever you create a plant or whatever, what we do, we copy it from 1000 and we assign it to our own things. What happened? So BI custom area was not okay. Fine. Okay. Okay. So now we have defined one warehouse number. Okay, fine. We have done this. Apart from that, if you want to do another things also, interfaces, ERP integration, delivery processing. Now, sorry, general settings, map warehouse numbers. Now, what is the EWM logical system base? I mean, like the ERP one, it is BP1 CLNT 400, right? Now, what I do here, what is my ERP warehouse number? W10, right? And what is my EWM one here? WH10. Agree with me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Ipal, Ganesh or Prasad, I believe you're clear what I'm trying to say. here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to assign my warehouses here. Okay. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So someone has asked me the question like we are not defining the outbound and inbound. I don't know who has asked me that, but here is the answer. Okay. Now, if you remember that the BP1 CLNT 400 earlier, we have set it as an outbound. Do you remember that, guys? Hello.
Yes. Yeah.
But now if you see this, it is an inbound and TW41 as an outbound here. Do you see that, guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that Prasad or Ganesh who has asked me this? I'm sorry, I'm not sure about the name.
Topal.
I'm sorry, Topal. Okay. So you're clear on this part. It's clear now, right? So that is the ERP one and this is the EWM side. You're getting it? Hello?
Yeah.
Now, assign RFC destination to the logical system. So we have to define even this one now. Assign RFC destination to the logical system also we have to define. Am I right? Hello? Like what we have done there. Do you remember that? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in 1709, guys, there is a small change here. What happens is go to this C38 program. I always forget this thing. Recently only I've sent this to someone. What is the file name here? 1 second. Yeah, just remember this, no? /SEWM/R_ERP_ this one, okay? You see this RFC destination T41 actually, whatever you're trying to do here. Here you see this. We will use this report if you install as a component in ERP system, guys. So if you're using it as an add-on, always remember this, okay? Because as being it is an add-on system here, okay, we have to run this report over here. Getting it, guys? Hello?
Yes.
So in the SM59 in ERP side, we have done it here. But when it comes to this one, actually, what if you install extended warehouse management as a component in an ERP system? So now it's already a component, right? And you're using this in the same ERP client. Are we using this in the same client, right? Hello? Ganesh, Tapal, or Prasad. Okay. What we are trying to do, you're trying to assign the standard rapid destination to the individual logical system of your client. Getting it? So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to assign this to our thing. T41 EWM 400 is what? This is your EWM one. If I execute this, okay, I have not done any changes actually because I don't want to do it again and again. If I change it, then the system will change. Don't do any changes to this case because the system is already done. So this T41 EWM 400 has been assigned to our BP1 CLNT 400. Getting it? What I'm trying to say? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what once we run this transaction, it will be automatically assigned. But I don't want to change it now. If I change it again, it will be a lot of discrepancies here. I don't want to do that now. But this is a standard rapid destination where we'll be running over here in the back for this. Getting it, guys?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
But don't try to change any of these settings, guys, because these are all the one-time activities. If you try to change anything, and it will create a lot of inconsistencies for everyone. Okay, and these are all the basic settings also. You don't need to worry about these settings at all. These are all the basics one. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, fine. Now. Delivery processing, will not touch this now. Goods movement, okay, this is the place. Now, if you see this, map storage locations here. So simply, I'll take one of them. What is my plant here? WM10, no? What is the storage location I've defined? 1030. Logical system BP1. My warehouse is WH10. Okay. And my availability group, I'll tell you this also. You see this no unique partner found for the plant WM10. Do you see this error, guys? What is this error? Hello?
Partner.
Yeah. So ideally, what is happening is there is something called as its system is looking out for some master data, guys. Ideally, okay. So that master data, I will be discussing that in step by step. Okay, we need to have something called as a supply chain unit, or we need to have something called as an EWM, and all these things. We have so many things here. Okay, supply chain unit, business partners, and all these things actually. Okay. Hello.
Okay, Sriram.
Okay, so this we'll be discussing step by step in maybe in the next coming sessions. Okay, maybe tomorrow. So we'll have this in detail. Okay. However, so far whatever we have done, it is only the 30% of the integration part we have done. But once we have started defining your supply chain unit and all these things, then it comes to the hello. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, and someone is asking something. Okay, so this will be defining this step by step once we are trying to have it here, guys. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Okay. So, any questions so far?
No, so that's been so there is no SIP, right? So how we create the business partner? So all the master data treat it as a business partner itself.
The whole will kill it as a business partner only. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions, or it's not that clear, guys? To any, I mean, like, is it not clear to everyone? Please let me know.
Sriram, like as you say, right, like you need to execute the one program, right, before assigning the logistics to the ERP.
Because it is an add-on. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So this is a one-time activity. In real time, I don't think so. We'll have authorizations to execute that program,
You
right?
will not even have this authorization. That's what I'm telling you. These are the basis activity. You don't need to worry about these things yet. Okay, the system connections and all these things, you don't need to worry about these things. Only the creation of your distribution model and WM specific parameters. Only these part only you have to worry about. But the rest of the part, they'll be done with the basis, guys. You just don't worry. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Perfect. So, any other questions, guys?
Sriram, could you please share us the document?
That's what I didn't receive any of your email IDs so far. Once I start receiving it, definitely maybe tomorrow or maybe on the day after, I'll be receiving it again. Once I receive it, I can do that. Okay.
Yeah. And just the BC sets documents, right? What are the BC sets?
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
Everything,
how will you do that?
all I'll be sharing. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
I think I have it. Neha, I'll be sharing all these documents once we have completed. I think I don't have it here, but I have the BC sets with me. Don't worry, I'll share that one. I've kept it somewhere, I guess. Okay, I don't have it here at this time, but I'll share it. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
No worries. No worries. Okay. So, guys, are these timings are comfortable to you? I heard that some of you guys are not comfortable. Something Naveen was telling to me. I'm not sure how far you guys are comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable for me.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, comfortable for me. Myself, I'm comfortable with this time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Sriram, this is Prasad. Actually, if we can postpone this by 15 minutes like that, I will get some time to get home,
Okay.
That's what I have asked Naveen. If we can start at 6:30 a.m. Indian time, that will be 7 p.m. I'll be home.